Welcome back to Hashes and Numbers. I'm Thomas, here my co-host,
Justin.
and today we're going to break down week three action, get into some news, and then kind of recap the last few weeks per se. Ready?
Yeah.
So let's get into the recaps. Last Thursday, the Bills beat the Dolphins 31-21. Any notes on that game?
James Cook just looks like he's about to dominate this season. Just looks very like shifty. Just looks very awesome. Uh, from the Dolphins side, I think the offense improved. However, they still lost, but I think this is a win for the Dolphins. Just putting up a fight should have been like a 7 point game.
Hmm.
And yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how they play in week 4.
Yeah, kind of alluding to what you said. We saw a better Dolphins team, but obviously the Bills are the Bills. Not much you can do there. They put up 31. Dolphins offense looked a lot better, but still doesn't look like the Dolphins of a couple years ago. Part of it might be just who the Dolphins are, but I still have trust that, the Dolphins can kind of get back. I don't know about making the playoffs, but they can get back to a form that we're more familiar with. Just kind of looking back on the game itself and our predictions. If I'm not mistaken, I had the Bills. Um, I think I had the Dolphins to cover, and at the end of the day, I think the Dolphins did cover. Do you remember what pick you
Yeah.
had?
I had Dolphins covering, but I unfortunately put the Bills the Bills one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next game, the Falcons versus the Panthers. The Panthers absolutely gave it to the Falcons. Panthers got benched in the game. Any quick thoughts before I dive in?
I don't think Panthers play good to win like that, but cause like Bryce Young just threw for 121 yard, which is not good. But I I would I think if you're a Falcons, you should be worried kind of. Penix didn't play that bad, but. It just looks like what is called Falcons can't score any touchdown because they were troubling against the Vikings, and now their offense was just struggling to put up any points against the Panthers.
Yeah, I think this one falls on Penix a lot. I don't think he played very well in this game. I think his stats are kind of boosted by the fact that they were down all of the game. I saw a stat saying, when the Falcons give up 7 points or more, or give up more than 7 points, Penix is 0-4, which is a worrying stat just based on Penix. I mean, the sample size is really, really small. He hasn't had a full season yet, but he's not off to a great start. And the Panthers, I mean, I don't think the Panthers are that great of a team. I definitely picked against them in this game, but I just don't know like how to feel about the Falcons. This one more like shows me about the Falcons and the Panthers. I don't think the Panthers are this type of
Yeah.
team.
I
But I wonder,
agree.
are the Falcons this kind of team where they bottom out a little bit, versus what we saw against the Vikings, where they looked like clearly, NFC South contender. This game showed me that maybe they're not that.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, we move on to the Packers Browns. The biggest upset of the week. I think the Packers came in as double-digit favorites, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, it closed at 7.5. I guess they were on the road, so not double-digit favorites, 7.5. I think I might have said this was way too low. I guess I was wrong. Tough week, I guess. Um, yeah, I had the Packers -7. I thought they were gonna, boat racing on the Packers looked almost unbeatable. The Browns looked very beatable. And I guess this kind of just shows any given Sunday, anything can happen. Packers offense really, really struggled throughout this game. They couldn't, boost their lead. And then at the end of the day, a few big plays gets the Browns, the field goal into field goal range and closed the door on the Packers. Perfect season.
Yeah, this was a very interesting game. I didn't expect the Packers to lose this at all. Um, like what I've been saying before, I don't know if I trust Jordan Love. Jordan Love was struggling against the Browns. He threw a pick and just didn't play good. And yeah.
Yeah. I think kind of going back to last week's segment, we said the Packers had a chance to start off 4-0. Um,
Hmm.
I think that if you were to put, some odds on it, I think Packers might have the best chance. I'm not sure who they're playing
Yeah.
this week, but definitely closing the door, and it just shows how hard it is to go 17-0 in today's football.
Packers are playing Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean, so there was a chance they start 4-0, but again, shows how hard it is. You just want to say?
Like the ending was just wild. Like I don't know how to say it, but the kick got blocked by the Packers. And I'm pretty sure Browns were in field goal range, right?
hmm
Yeah, this is a wild ending.
Going to the next game, the Texans going to Jacksonville, coming out losers. Jacksonville wins 17-10. You want to give your thoughts first?
Jaguars offense played good, and if I was the Texans, I would be worried about the offense because they're struggling against Tampa Bay on Monday Night Football, and here again they're just struggling once again. Or I think CJ can't like really find himself. He threw two interception, which is costly. Yeah. And Jaguars offense is starting to look good with Trevor Lawrence, which I like.
Yeah. This game again is one of those ones where I think it shows one team more than the other. I think it shows what the Texans are and what CJ is. That like that sophomore slump last year that everyone thought is not a sophomore slump. He's not shown to have progression, and he was so good his rookie year, so it really confuses me why he's not able to progress like that. As for the Jaguars offense, nothing really impressed me. Trevor had no touchdowns, one interception, 222 yards, 50% completion, right? The running game wasn't that efficient.
Hmm.
No receiver other than Brenton Strange, I guess, really kind of stood out. Um, the one number that I'm really confused about is Parker Washington. Why he's getting 11 targets and Travis only gets two, but that's more just mainstream media stuff. Diving deeper into the stats. As a whole, I think again this shows that the Texans aren't the contenders in the AFC South that we thought they were.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know if it really shows the Jaguars are either. This
I
game didn't impress me per
I
se.
I think Jaguars might be up there for a playoff spot for a wild card, to be honest.
For a wild card? That's an
Yeah.
interesting thought. I'm not there to say I'm not there yet. But given how the AFC is shaping out, it's a possibility.
Hmm.
Next game, blowout of the week. The Vikings, both teams have back quarterbacks. The Vikings just put it to the Bengals, made the Bengals look absolutely terrible. Do you have any thoughts?
Isaiah Rogers is a baller, you know. Philly fans wants him back, and yeah, Cincinnati had five turnover this game, was like Minnesota Viking was just on Jake Browning. Jake Browning like struggled, and I don't know what to say about Carson Wentz, but I think he's ca like capable kind of, and I think it's better for Justin Jefferson as we saw this week.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think it's weird. I like the system that I mean, I'm a big Kevin O'Connell fan. I really trusted his system with JJ McCarthy. Um, and I don't know because Wentz really didn't have to do anything in this game. Obviously, he played well, played fairly well, took care of the ball, which you can't say for Jake Browning, but they really leaned on the running game. I mean, 31
Yeah.
carries, right? Um, the passing game wasn't all that. Even if you look at Jake Browning's stat line, like he had the two picks, but outside of that, I mean, he was pretty efficient, not didn't have the yardage, and I think it's because like how the Bengals are built. Um, this just shows me that they need Joe Burrow. This offense is unsustainable without Joe Burrow, and their defense isn't great enough to kind of carry without Joe Burrow. The Vikings, I think they're just gonna be a sneaky good team like they are every year. Kevin O'Connell's system. I'm interested to see how they play this week in Kevin O'Connell's system. How
Yeah.
how the Bengals kind of, or not how the Bengals, how the Vikings kind of progress and how long they keep JJ out, especially if Carson Wentz continues to play pretty well.
Hmm.
Next game, Steelers versus Patriots. Steelers get a 7-point victory on a late touchdown. Thoughts?
Oh, you could go first for this one.
Yeah. For this one. I had a lot of hype on the Patriots going into the year. I thought Drake May was going to progress, and I'm not out on all that hype yet. Obviously, the Patriots were favored in this game. I think in some books had the Steelers favorites. I picked the
Yeah,
Patriots in
also
this
close.
game. Either way, I mean, it was close. I think I picked the Patriots in this game, but I don't know. Drake May looks good at times, and then he doesn't look good at times. And as much as I want to put this on, Drake May and whatnot, having I think they had 5 turnovers in this game. It just it just doesn't help, right? I mean, Gibson had one, Stevenson had two, May had one, and then May had a pick. I don't think you can win a game 5 turnovers, but the fact that they were in this game kind of tells me
Yeah,
that like, hey, they're almost there. It's the small stuff. So the Steelers might, Mike Tomlin just continues to get wins in gritty ways. He
yeah.
just somehow finds ways to win games. Yeah, I think not much to say outside of that. Good for the Steelers to get in the win, capitalizing, but this isn't really like a Steelers like, oh, I'm really impressed by the Steelers.
Yeah, like what you said, I'm not really very like impressed with the Steelers fan. They their offense didn't even look good at all, to be honest, which is concerning, kind of. But I think Drake may kind of like I don't know, he like balled out this game kind of, but just had costly errors, which like brought them back. And I think it's finally Trevion Henderson time. Just Ramon Stevenson can't like hold the ball at all, which he struggled with that last year too. And yeah, I think it's Henderson time.
Moving on to the Eagles-Rams game. For most of this game, the Eagles were down, and then they they blocked the game-winning kick, took it to the house, so covered the spread there. I think I picked the Rams in this one. Oh no, I picked the Eagles. I took the Eagles here on a short 3.5 point spread. I think in this game, I don't know how to feel about the Eagles because yeah, they got the win, and at the end of the day, that's what you want, right? That's the only thing that matters, getting the wins. But for
Hmm.
most of this game, I did not like what I saw from the Eagles, specifically Jalen Hurts. Um, for maybe 2.5 quarters, I just felt like Jalen Hurts was so conservative. And then at the end, when they were losing by double digits, they were like, you know what? Let's go back to the high flying passing attack. And it just confuses me why they don't go to it earlier. Obviously, if they turn it on and continue to do that, then they're back. I'm back on them. But if they're gonna continue to try to like ride Saquon, ride the running game, and then if they need to turn it on to passing, I mean, I feel like they're gonna get bit, especially if it comes postseason time, right? If they go down, 10 points, right? Can they just turn it on like they did today, or just the over the weekend? Can they just turn it on and come back, or is there gonna be a game where maybe you just give up too much and you're too conservative early? That's just my thoughts. Rams play pretty good for 2.5 quarters. Couple clutch kicks that got blocked cost them. But I'm not too far out on the Rams just because how good the Eagles team are.
I think Eagles defense, they gave the 26 point, but I think they played good where they held what is called the Rams to 5 field goals instead of more touchdown, which 26 points is a lot, but 5 field goal, holding them to 5 field goals is kind of good. And I think, like what I've been saying before, Jalen Hurts is capable of just capable of throwing it deep. You got potentially two of the best, high-power wide receiver, Devontae Smith and AJ Brown. And I don't know, the rushing hasn't been in this game, which is kind of concerning. I think it might be a downgrade here from Saquon. We will see like from next week. But yeah, you just gotta trust Jalen Hurts. He's 17-0 from the game he been playing.
17-1.
He didn't finish it out though, so
He has another
it's
loss.
what loss? What loss? Is it
Uh,
16-0?
it's 16-0
Yes, I mean that's still a good record. All he does is win.
with an asterisk. But we'll move on. The Jets Bucks game. Um, this one had a crazy ending. The Bucks had a kick block that got returned for a touchdown, and then the Bucks came down and had a game-winning field goal. I just want to highlight Baker Mayfield. This is his third week in a row with the game-winning drive. So all the teams that kind of gave up on Baker, or the teams that had Baker, right? I think the Rams aren't too sad, but I mean the Panthers and the
Yeah,
Browns
Panthers.
could
Yeah, yeah.
they could really use Baker right now. Buccaneers
For
are
real.
3-0, and they're pretty much the front runner for the NFC South. Yeah. Any deeper thoughts?
Oh, you kind of already explained it. It's just wild ending. Just to get back, you saw the coach going all over, which was kind of funny. But ba yeah, Baker Mayfield's clutch once again, just like clutch genes. And my actually we'll explain it later, but a potentially big injury for the team.
hmm just kind of wrapping up on the Jets. The Jets, they're 0-3. They do not look good, and I don't think it's because Fields was out. I think it's the Jets.
Uh, just being bad, I don't think about that way. I think Justin Fields would somewhat make this team better, in my opinion.
What's their ceiling though? Do you think they're winning games, or do you think they're just
It's
existing?
maybe like a 500 team. I don't know their
Even after
schedule,
starting
but
0-3?
I mean, like what I said, I don't know about their schedule. Hold up.
Either way, I
No,
mean, not even just like you can disregard the schedule. Do you think they're
I
a
sh
team that
nah.
that's
I just checked
500?
their schedule. I just checked their schedule, but I don't think so. They have low-key a hard schedule, but I don't know. This offense could be scary though, in my opinion. Just the
I
connection with
I'm out. I'm out on that. I just don't think they passed the ball enough. I mean, if you look at the stats for Tyrod, I mean, he passes the ball, he doesn't run, and they still couldn't put up numbers, right? Like Garrett had 10 for 84 and a touchdown. No one else had more than, four catches. I don't think Fields does that. Fields just doesn't pass like that. So yeah, I'm out.
oh yeah, their offense hasn't been the problem. It's just defense. Yeah. Okay.
Moving on. Um, we'll go to the next game. The Colts destroyed the Titans. I think this was the most obvious pick. Both of us were on the Colts, and the Colts continued to be great.
Yeah. Cam Ward, I don't know. I think he improved his game this week, but Cole Stevens is just I don't know how to say it. Cole Stevens just looks kind of good. And then Daniel Jones, like what I've been saying before, it just looks like Sam Darnold from last year. And this Colts team could be sneaky good, in my opinion.
hmm Um, my thoughts, I mean, the Titans, they have a rookie quarterback. They're still figuring it out. There's gonna be growing pains. I'm not gonna say, I mean, there's no expectations on the Titans, so them starting 0-3 isn't the worst thing in the world. In terms of the Colts, I don't know if they've played anybody yet. I mean, they played the Dolphins, but the Dolphins don't look that great. They played the Broncos, but the Broncos are 1-2, and then they played the Titans who are 0-3. So they have one combined, like, their opponents have one combined win. And yeah, you can only play who's on your schedule, but at the same time, like this kind of has a feel of like the college teams where like you play some of these, FCS teams, these lower conference teams, and then you get up against the big dogs and you really show who you are. This Colts team kind of feels like one of those SEC teams who has the big dogs coming up. They got a couple teams coming up that will give them a test, and if you can survive that, you prove yourself as contenders. If not, you're just a team who kind of feasted on the lower teams, got a good bowl game, maybe get to 500. But yeah, that's my thoughts. We can go ahead to the Commanders Raiders game. The Commanders looked amazing. 41-24, kind of feasted on the Raiders.
Yeah.
Um, I did say if Jaden was out, I would be on the Raiders. I was wrong. But I think this Commanders team is proving like my hype. I was high on the Commanders before the season, and this team looks good.
Yeah. This without what is it called? Without Jaden Daniels, they still play good. Marcus Mariota was able to like support them. I'm pretty sure that Raiders had a lot of turnover, right? Oh, they had zero, but Commanders defense just looked great. And I don't know. I think Who's Geno Smith backup again?
Aiden O'Connell.
Never mind. I thought it was a rookie, but yeah, Geno Smith is just very inconsistent in my opinion. He low-key played good this game. What do you think about Geno?
I mean, I think I don't want to say he was a system quarterback because he wasn't. I think he in Seattle he was better than a system quarterback. But I think him leaving Seattle, I think Seattle was the perfect situation for him. He had Lockett and DK right on the outside. He had a young flourishing JSN, right?
Hmm.
Going to the Raiders now. I mean, he has Brock Bowers, which is good. Jacoby Myers is a pretty good receiver, but you can see like he goes to his other receivers a lot more, right? I think Trey
Yeah.
Tucker had a great game. Outside of Trey Tucker though, Jacoby, I think Jacoby was decent if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 3 for 63.
hmm I mean, but three catches from your best receiver isn't
Yeah.
great, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And I think you can see why JSN kind of broke out last year, right? Because Trey Tucker kind of plays that JSN role, the slot receiver that really stretches the field.
Yeah.
But when you just let him be the guy, right? And you kind of take away the other guys. I don't know if I don't know if Gino's really the best quarterback. I think he's a really good floor raiser. Like he'll get you 6 wins at the minimum, right? He'll get you
Yeah.
a good, season. But I don't know if he's like the ceiling raiser that the best quarterbacks are, the Lamars, the Josh Allens, the Joe Burrows, right? Those guys like they raise your ceiling by so much because they can distribute the ball, right?
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
from watching Gino as a Seahawks fan for so many years, right? You can tell
Hmm.
that like he he can pass. He's a good passer. He's a great quarterback. He just doesn't have like that high ceiling that other quarterbacks do, which isn't an issue. It's just you can't have expectations with that.
Yeah. I agree.
But a good one for the Commanders.
Yeah, especially with Jaden Daniels.
This late slate I didn't get to watch a lot of, so I'm just kind of going off box score watching, which is a problem in itself, but it does the job for right now. We'll go to the Chargers Broncos. Chargers win on a game-winning field goal. I think the Broncos were up by 7 at late in this game. The Chargers went down, tied it up, and then they got a field goal, if I'm not mistaken. Um,
Hmm.
this
Yeah.
just kind of this just kind of like confirms what I have about the Broncos, which is they're a solid team. They just are in a tough division, right? Um, I think the Chargers right now are the team to beat in the AFC West. The Chargers look good, and I'm interested to see how this division plays out because the
Yeah.
Chiefs don't look good. We'll talk about that later. The Broncos have a tough, right? They have a tough draw. The Chargers might be the team right now to get the 1 seed, especially if all the big dogs are fighting against each other. But what are your thoughts on this game?
I think Denver Broncos defense didn't play that bad. They're just able to put pressure on Justin Herbert. I think Herbert was uncomfortable the whole game, kind of, despite throwing 300. I don't know. For Chargers side, I think they're happy that, they're happy about their wide receiver core. They got Quentin, Ladd, and Keenan. You know, I think, if I'm sure, I think LA fans were worried about their wide receiver core, right?
hmm
Yeah, since like their wide receiver core got improved, and as a Broncos, I'm a little worried. But Bo Nix had 3 throws that could have ended the game, both on the both on the touchdown. I'm pretty sure, but I don't know. He just missed by like a little bit. Just yeah,
hmm
which definitely could have won the Broncos the game. But yeah, a loss is a loss. Shout out to Chargers.
all right. This is the game that we went to, Seahawks Saints, and you can tell I'm wearing my Seahawks jersey because this game was over after 2 or 3 Saints possessions. Um, They they missed on fourth down. Seahawks went down and scored a touchdown. Then they got a false start on a tush push, which then led to a 95-yard punt return touchdown. And then they went 3 and out, and they got their punt blocked. And then the
It was
Seahawks
just
went
a
and scored.
disaster. It's a
21-0
disaster.
after 3 drives. I guess 2.5 drives from the Seahawks because punt return touchdown.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, this one I don't have much about. I kind of describe it as like we know the Saints aren't going to be great, right?
Hmm.
Um, and I think the Seahawks just got out so hot that it made the score higher than it actually should have been.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
I don't think necessarily it was a 44-13 type of game. I think it just so happened that they got out to such a great start that it ended up being just like it kind of was one of those games where it was over by the third quarter and teams were just kind of doing their drives, get their guys, reps. So I don't have much other than the fact that the Seahawks took care of business. The Saints might not win a game, but they might get Arch.
I don't know. Like for Saints wise, I think Spencer Rattler's not playing bad, but it's not playing good. And like Seahawks scored 38 points in the first half, where I don't think any team could overcome from that, you know?
Hmm.
It's just I don't know. Like Seattle special team just carried them for this one. It was just a blowout. I don't think Saints have any positive. And Sam Darnold played pretty good where actually, yeah, he threw 14 for 18, which is good, and he threw
Yeah.
for 218,
But I mean,
which
I don't really think this is a game you can look at the stat sheet and be like, okay, he played good or bad because they were up by so much. I mean,
yeah, yeah,
Darnold could just sit back and hand the ball off and they would have won the game.
yeah.
Moving on, as the Bears fan, I'll give you props here. This is the game you were looking for. This is the one that the Bears fans were waiting for how long? For a while now. Um, I mean, it's been a while since the Bears won a game, but they took care of business, commanding fashion. Caleb looked good. Um, you sent me a text saying Caleb balled out. I'll let you have the floor. Go on your little victory lap right here.
You know, as Bears fan, F Matt Eberflus, bro. We hate Matt Eberflus, you know. Shout out to Caleb Williams, you know. He I don't know. As Bears fan, we're all just happy we won this game. Caleb with Ben Johnson, hey, you know that's better be a problem. He threw for 298 and four touchdown. And I don't know. For rushing side, that side might still be iffy. I don't know if I fully trust DeAndre Swift. I think he's mid. I think we should have drafted a running back like Cam Skattebo, but yeah, that's what it is. I think this offense will keep improving.
Hmm.
And if the defense just maintains, I think this team could start winning, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, that's my point.
I'm not gonna drag down the Bears. I think this is a great win for you guys. It's just that division you play in might limit your upside.
Yeah.
Um, But yeah, week three, this is what Bears fans wanted. This is everything that, this is the drug that Bear fans are gonna keep on to for however many games that they don't win or do win. It's just gonna be like if you keep winning, you build onto that like, hey, the Bears are there, the Bears are here. But if you lose, it's always
hmm
like, well, we have progression, right? Look at the Cowboys game. Caleb can be the guy. And I don't think Caleb's not the guy. I just don't know if the Bears are the Bears yet. I mean,
Caleb,
we've had discussions. I'll let you talk in a second, but we've had discussions. I think the Bears window is not open yet, but I think it can be
yeah.
open in 1 or 2 years, especially if the Lions or the Packers or the Vikings start to fade. But right now, I just think those three teams ahead of them are the three clear teams in the NFC North. But the Bears are young and they're up and coming. That there's a connection there that I think you want to talk about. So I'll let you talk about that connection before we move on.
Yeah. Just one little negative thing, Caleb Williams tried doing, you know, just a little too much USC style.
Hmm.
Was watching from this game, he didn't try doing that much. Oh yeah, also he did not get sacked, you know. Shout out to the offensive line. You know, that's great to see. And what is called? Roma Dunze and Luther Burden just seems like the future. And, you know,
Hmm.
future is bright, like what you said.
Yeah. We'll move on to an NFC West matchup, Cardinals Niners. I didn't watch any of this game. I'm not even gonna lie, but I saw the last field goal. Good for Eddie Pinheiro coming in, kicking the game-winning field goal. Mac Jones gets a win. Um, I'll just say like this is kind of funny because I still remember when the 2021 NFL draft was happening.
hmm
Everyone was all like, "Oh, the Niners might take Mac Jones. The Niners are going to get Mac Jones. Mac Jones in this Kyle Shanahan offense is going to be deadly."
Oh
And then they
yeah.
took Trey Lance, and it didn't work out. But
hmm
it kind of comes full circle. Mac Jones comes back, leads the Niners to a win. over the Cardinals. And the one thing about the Cardinals, I saw the headlines. Marvin Harrison Jr. looks terrible. I don't know. This isn't the Marvin Harrison Jr. that I know from Ohio State.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just like him in his head, if it's the offense. I don't know what it is, but this is not who he is. And if he continues to be like this, I mean, the word bust is flowing around, and you can't avoid it when you play like this. He had like two big drops, in my opinion.
He had a wide open touchdown drop. And what is called the fourth or third down drop was
Hmm.
steal the game, basically. I don't know. Like what you said, Mac Jones coming or Mac Jones first time starting, right?
For the Niners,
He,
yeah.
yeah, he looked not gonna lie, he looked pretty good in my opinion. And how there's one bad side. I think it's CMC not being able to find his rhythm yet, which is a little concerning as a, superstar.
Hmm. I did see somewhere that like CMC leads the league in touches, and he might be like on pace for a record in touches. He had 17 rushing attempts and 10 catches, which is absurd. I mean, it seems like CMC always gets those years where he just goes off. But yeah, I mean, he takes good care of his body. His dad was in the league, so I'm not too worried. Even if he can't find his rhythm, he's gonna get the opportunities. So,
Yeah.
and then we'll go on to the primetime game, the Chiefs Giants. This was a tough watch. The Chiefs took care of business, but it's the Giants. Russ looked terrible. The Chiefs looked terrible. I don't know. Like the Chiefs won the game, but I don't think this is one that Chiefs fans are really celebrating here. Even though it's their first win, I don't know if they're like we're back. Um,
Yeah.
but part of it's also the fact that the Giants played so terrible. The Giants didn't have a kicker. It's like they didn't have to play that great. But I hated this game for Sunday night. I don't have thoughts on that. Just both teams look bad. Chiefs look less bad.
I watched like first quarter of this and I just it, like kind of turned it off start. I was just watching LAFC. I don't know. Giants does not look good at all. This is just kind of funny. And Abdul Carter, I don't think he did much.
He had a
Did he
couple of big
have?
plays. He had a couple of good plays. I think there was some ones where he like stopped the run. A couple ones where he got to Mahomes.
I don't know, but Giants offense does not look good. Like Russell
Hmm.
Wilson should get benched. We'll talk about that. And yeah, Cam Scatterboo, low key might be a what is it called steal of the draft in my opinion. He looks good, and I think
Yeah.
Pache what was the carry for the Chiefs? Hold up. It's interesting on how Kareem Hunt and Pacheco's splitting backfield too as well.
Yeah, I mean, I just think so many teams in the league now are splitting backfield carries. The Chiefs are kind of showing that like, hey, you don't have to draft a running back that high to have a running game. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't think any of the Chiefs running backs. Hunt, I know, isn't a high pick. Pacheco was a seventh round pick, I think. Rashard Smith also a late round pick. So
Yeah,
we'll see how they do that. But I think they're going back to committee. I don't think they're gonna have a lead back there.
yeah.
And then the last game, the one Monday Night Football game, the Lions Ravens. This is a pretty good game. I like this game. I think there's a bit of both. There's offense towards the end. There's a little defensive quarter in the second quarter. All in all, I think the Lions are back to what they were last year. Their running game is absurd. Monty had a 100-yard game, two touchdowns. Gibbs had two touchdowns. Amon-Ra St. Brown had a touchdown. It feels like everyone ate in the Lions offense.
Hmm.
And then the Ravens, it just seems like the Ravens always lose close games. They get close, but they're not there. And um, Derrick Henry, I don't know if he has a fumbling problem. I don't think he does, but it's just so funny that he has three fumbles through 3 weeks, and he's been kind of the reason why they've lost. They're not, 3-0. They are 1-2.
I think Ravens should have won this game. Ravens met like had a little errors. I what was the score when Derrick Henry fumbled?
I
That
think
was
they were
such a
down
big.
by they were down by one possession. I know that for sure. I don't know if it was 7 or 4.
Yeah, that cost them the game. You just can't have a superstar doing that, in my opinion.
Hmm.
And Lions, I don't know, that Jameer Gibbs and David Montgomery just backfield is just deadly.
Hmm.
It's like the opposite from KC. It's too. like Sonic and what was it called Knuckles running all over every single team. And they also have a high passing, what is it called? High weapons, good
Yeah.
weapons, which could be scary.
Um, that's all of the games. We do have some injury news, but before we get into that, what was your favorite game of the week?
Mine, right. As a Bears fan, I think like best fun game to watch, just in general, or
I'll just say the one you enjoyed watching the most.
sure, I'm gonna have to go with this game though. Probably just the Bears game, in my opinion. Just Caleb Williams looking very sharp.
Hmm.
Yeah, probably the Bears one. I enjoyed the most watching.
I think in terms of overall enjoyability, I really like the um I'd say the Bucks Jets one was interesting at the end. Watching Red Zone, that was the one where I was like, man, this game's crazy. But in terms of like overall like the best game in my opinion, I think the Ravens Lions, it lived up to the game of the week in my opinion. So I'll go with that.
Yeah, I was gonna go with that, but it's the Bears, you know.
Um, we got some news now. Some injury updates. Mike Evans, I think he's gonna be out for a few weeks.
Yeah.
Do you think that limits the ceiling for the Bucks?
To be honest, who did they go against this week? They went against the Jets. I don't I don't think so, because I think Sterling Shepard will do like hold it until Chris Godwin's comes back, which I'm pretty sure will be soon. Wait, when does Chris Godwin come back? I heard he's coming back soon.
Yeah, I think it might, if not this week, it might be next week. So some relatively soon. They
Yeah,
do go against the Eagles though, so
I think that might be a problem though. I don't know.
I think this is the week. I mean, I feel like without Mike Evans, I think they definitely do fall to the Eagles. Um, Obviously, Emeka Buka is blossoming right now, especially in the wide receiver two role. And without Mike Evans, I'm interested to see how they use Chris Godwin because both are really like slot receivers. Mike Evans is more like the outside receiver.
Hmm.
So I don't know. Do they move one to the outside? Buka probably could play outside, but it's gonna be really different than what you have like with Mike Evans.
Yeah, I think it'll
Um,
be big until Chris Godwin comes back.
Even when Godwin comes back, I wonder how it's gonna be. But I trust Baker. I think the Bucks are gonna be fine.
Yeah.
We go to the CeeDee Lamb injury. Cowboys were struggling to start the year already. They lost to the Eagles, they lost to the Bears, and they barely got by the Giants, and now they take a big blow on CeeDee Lamb. From what I'm hearing, it might be an IR type of injury, so that means 4 weeks minimum.
Yeah, I think this one's the biggest injury for them, not gonna lie.
Hmm.
This is basically like losing Micah Parsons.
Yeah,
I,
go ahead.
I don't know. I just think they're gonna struggle. You know, you could go ahead.
This is a year I think the Cowboys definitely bottom out a little bit. I mean, especially with CD injured. I mean, their schedule coming up. I know they play the Packers, on Sunday Night Football this week. I'm gonna take a look at what their schedule looks like going further, but I'll talk about losing CD. I mean, I don't think even with CD, it was gonna be tough to keep up with the Commanders and the Eagles in this division. Without him, like going forward, they would have to play damn near perfect, and I just don't think the Cowboys are that kind of team right now. Um, any other thoughts on CD before I pull up this Cowboy schedule?
No, I just think they're gonna struggle without
Okay,
him.
so they got Packers, the Jets, which is winnable, Panthers winnable, and then you got Commanders on that is that fourth game. So I
Hmm.
mean, obviously anything can happen, but I mean that's two losses there already that I can pretty much pencil in. Let's say if even if he comes back against the Broncos, Broncos are a tough defense to go against, right?
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, I guess you if CD does come back, you get him like for the harder part of the schedule. The back half of the schedule is definitely harder. They got some winnable games here with the Jets, with the Panthers, with the Cardinals, with the Raiders. I think if you're gonna miss CD for a part of the season, this is the better part of the season to miss, but I still think they bought him out here.
I agree.
Next injury is James Conner on the Cardinals. He's out for the season with an ankle injury. Um, do you think this, obviously this hurts the Cardinals, but how much do you think this really lowered their ceiling from what you expected?
I don't know. Wasn't James Conner struggling before he got injured? Yeah, he was. I don't think this is low-key gonna make a big difference, in my opinion. I think Trey Benson will be able to hold for the offense.
hmm I think running back injuries are less severe than the two receiver injuries we talked about. I think um, James Conner obviously is a good player. He's been very underrated, very consistent over the last few years. It's unfortunate that, he had to go through this.
Yeah.
Um, from what I've heard, Trey Benson, they like Trey Benson.
hmm
Um, but the Cardinals really, I don't know what their ceiling is. I think this may lower their floor a little bit, but I still think they have a pretty solid ceiling, pretty, you know, good upside to get a wild card. I don't know about winning the division, but
Yeah.
um, again, I don't know if this really hurts their ceiling. I don't know if James Conner was a guy who's going to put them over the top. I don't think he was a Saquon or a Derrick Henry type of running back, but still an impactful player, still a good player. And it's unfortunate that he's out for the year.
Yeah.
Getting to another guy in the same division who's out for the year, Nick Bosa. The Niners injuries just continue to pile on. I mean, at this point, they might be missing all of their starters. They might be out all their starters except CMC, which is the one guy who's concerned about having an injury. Thoughts on Nick Bosa's injury?
I think this is a big injury for them. I think their defense line will like start to struggle a little bit and it'll show at times. And not gonna like wish for injuries, but I think CMC actually might like get injured this like swatching all the and like swatching all the injury stuff. I just have a feeling CMC might get injured.
I mean, I think I wouldn't put it like that, but I would say like given the amount of load they're putting on CMC, he's at a higher risk for injury. Um, I don't think he's
Yeah,
gonna get injured. I mean,
that's
he's the guy who takes care of his body pretty well. He's not really a guy who's super aggressive like Cam Scadaboo. Um, I saw a little funny
hmm
thing where it's like there's two types of white running backs. You got the CMC, a guy who doesn't, really get hit, and then you got Cam Scadaboo who like if he doesn't
we
get hit,
just
there's a problem, right? And
yeah,
it's just
yeah,
funny to me. Like I think CMC is one of those guys who he's kind of like a Tyler Lockett where he really does a good job of avoiding big hits.
yeah.
Um, We'll go on to another running back injury. Najee Harris is out for the year with an Achilles injury. This one, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if how much of a role Najee was gonna have. I mean, he was coming off that eye thing, and then he was starting to get back in the flow of the offense. Unfortunate that a guy who hasn't missed any games before the season is gonna go through his second injury in the summer/fall. But I'm not sure this is necessarily a big hit to them. I think Amari and Hampton getting more run. Obviously, you want to be able to spread out especially for running backs, you want to spread out the load. You want to be able to have multiple guys, but Hampton's a guy who's been pretty good this year, outside of the red zone. Between I think the passing offense from the Chargers, the new weapons that they have. I'm not sure Najee was really like the biggest guy who was contributing to this offense.
Yeah, I agree. I just think it's just unlucky as Najee Harris because I think Najee was gonna get more like more potential on this
hmm
team. But yeah, I don't think like the injury will spite the team. You know.
hmm And then the last bit of news, um, Jackson Dart has been named the starter. They're benching Russell Wilson. I'll let you go first because I got a little bit of things to say about Russ. So go ahead.
I think I don't know. Russell Wilson has been very inconsistent. He balled out and then he played bad. I don't know if it's that bad to like get him benched, but I don't know. I think this might be an interesting move. I think Malik Neighbor might go off like this next few weeks with Jackson Dart. You could go
Okay,
ahead.
my little thing on Russ. So when Russ was at his best, I think the idea of Russ was way better than what Russ was producing, right? When he first came into the league and the Seahawks went on the little run, it was a lot on the Legion of Boom. Their
Hmm.
defense really carried. Russ was the guy who just be a game manager, be the guy who, who's a rushing threat, who'll make plays, right? But there was always highlights of
Hmm.
Russ where he'd scramble, make a play or something, right? And it kind of gave the
Yeah.
idea like, oh, Russell Wilson's this, this top tier quarterback, which he was at a point, he had a couple years where he was, getting MVP consideration, right? But I
Hmm.
think the idea of Russ being Russ was way higher than what he really was. About to say, when he went to the Broncos, I think it really showed that, like, hey, Russ isn't necessarily like the top tier quarterback that we think he is. Um, then he moved on
Yeah.
to Pittsburgh, and he again was a guy who was decent, but at the end of the year, you could see like, hey, this guy is not necessarily who Russ was early, like in the Seahawks, right? And I just think with the Seahawks, they had the great defense, so they won. They had a terrible defense, so Russ had to put up stats, right? And that put together kind of gave the
Yeah.
idea that like Russell Wilson, right, was a guy who carried the Seahawks or he put the Seahawks on his back. But there were two different timelines,
Hmm.
and I think both those timelines kind of combined. So when you go into the offseason, right, and you're looking like guys, who are the quarterbacks out there, right? You see, you know, Kirk Cousins available in there. You see guys like Aaron Rodgers available, and then you see Russell Wilson available, right? And your idea of Kirk Cousins, oh, he got benched in Atlanta, and he was kind of a system quarterback in Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, okay, he sucked with the Jets. He's still
Hmm.
decent, but he's not a guy who has terribly great upside. He'll be the veteran guy. He won't make mistakes. He'll give you a good floor, but is he a Super Bowl guy? With Russ, it was just like, hey, he's been iffy, but if he clicks, right, he could be somebody who is the guy who bridges your gap.
Hmm.
Rodgers doesn't have a guy behind him who's like, oh,
Yeah.
he's coming next. Um, with Russ, it's like you have Jameis and you have Jackson Dart behind him. He was gonna get on a short leash, and when he had that big game against the Dallas defense that wasn't necessarily healthy, people were like, "Oh, Russ is back. Russ is back." I don't think Russ. I think this is a very quick hook. I think the Giants wanted to get Jackson Dart in. I just think them signing Russ, put this cap on what Russ was that I don't think Russ really was. And the big game last week really hurt the media's expectation of Russ because now you're expecting Russ to come out and be that old Russ, the guy who led the Seahawks, which he really didn't do. And now he had such a bad game that it looks like, oh, Russ was terrible when Russ was never all that. I like Russ. I really appreciate what he did for the Seahawks, but I just don't think he's necessarily the guy we think he is.
Yeah. I
Any last
agree.
notes, any last news you want to talk about?
Not much. I'm good. Do you?
All right, we can wrap this one up. Thank you guys for listening. We'll be back on Thursday for the preview and some more. Thank you guys for
Hmm.
listening. We'll see you next time.